Hi, I'm currently doing some work on my 2012 Mercedes Vito to convert a standard van into a camper. So at the moment I'm I've built the frame for the ceiling to go in the van. There's not much on YouTube, so I thought I would share my experience with you. So first of all, I started up at the cabin. My beam across the cabin here is just purely held up by a bolt in the middle. This bolt goes through a hole that was already drilled into the van itself, and I've just put a small bolt over the top there. Now, as this piece of the van isn't straight or flat, the beam quite nicely holds itself up in the corners because it's pushing up by the bolt. The second piece I did was I bolted these two pieces of wood to either side. I used the existing screw holes that were in the ceiling of the Vito, so I didn't screw into the van itself. I used M6 bolts that I already had, and I attached them to both sides. There's the other side. I then attached cross beams to connect them together, and in the middle you'll see there were also holes in the ceiling of the Vito, so I've used bolts to bolt the centre beam to the top of the van. I've then run beams across to the front, and I've attached them with little brackets, as you can see. My centre beam I have actually screwed to the van, and I had to notch that out slightly to get it round the beam of the roof that was already on the van. So across to the back, my beam across the back, again I didn't screw any holes into the van itself. You'll see that there's some notches in the van like this. There were 3 across the back, so I had some metal, what's the best thing to call it, metal brackets. They were actually right angle brackets. I straightened them out, and I pushed those brackets. I screwed them to the beam and I pushed them into the back of the van. As you can see, they're pretty solid all across the back. And then I have used the brackets again to attach beams across back to the centre. I'm not saying this is the correct way to do it, but I have managed to get my frame up with only screwing one new hole into the van, which I was quite pleased with. I've then cut panels, ply panels, one for the front, one for the back, and then I've left a gap in the centre where I'm going to have a slightly thinner one. So my back panel is 86 centimeters by 139. My front panel is 114 centimeters by 139. And then my centre one I'm going to use to plug my gap is 16 centimeters wide by 139. And yeah, I had to notch out the front slightly because you can see the front of the van in the corner comes in, so I think I knocked about 1 centimetre off those front corners, and I had to curve the corner into the back of the van there. Other than that, it fitted in quite nicely. So next step is to fit insulation into the ceiling, which I'm going to do with I've got some 20mm Celotex, so I've used 18mm wood and there's a bit of a gap above, so I'm going to use Celotex in the ceiling, and then I'm going to get my roof panel on. I hope that's of help. Not saying it's the right way, but it's the way that I've done it. Thank you.